What's up, people? What's good, people? This is Sports Debate Tuesday. We're going to call this episode The Comeback Kids. That's Rob McLean. And ladies and gentlemen, the episode starts right now. It's good, boy.
What's happening?
I like it. Welcome. This is Sports Debate Tuesday, along with my man. Say it with me, Rob. Keep it, McLean. McLean. I'm your host with the most. I'm Jason DeBeas, and we're here to talk about the two subjects that makes Meryl Streep mad. It is football and mixed martial arts, which, by the way, is not an art. Kiss my ass. All right, so a lot to talk about. Great weekend, huh? Sports, huh? Great weekend of sports. I mean, a lot of firsts, right? Georgia lost their first game to Alabama. The Detroit Lions won their first game, which was, God, Rob, weren't we so emotional for that dude? I mean, just
Yeah.
get that off your chest, you know. And he doesn't keep the ball. He gives it to he dedicates it to auction off for some good cause, and that's the kind of character Dan Campbell is. So Jose Aldo, not ready to give up his not ready to hang up his gloves. We both said Font, didn't we? Did I say Aldo?
Aldo, yeah.
You said Font.
No, I said yeah, I said font. I said font.
Good
I thought we
match,
both said font. It was
dude.
good.
Talk about a match that flew under the radar, huh? Main event. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I hope he fights one or two more times. You know, and I still don't know. He ain't. I mean, there's levels where
I
Peter
gotta
Yan is right now. You know.
I gotta say though, like I did not like the whole, and they gotta revamp this
What's that?
about being able to like lightly pepper the guy so that you get to basically shave time off the clock. Like why aren't we standing people up? Like I get the whole, go for
Hmm.
takedowns and stuff, but in
Yeah.
in round five, I think you have to be a little objective where it's not really a takedown. There's nothing really happening on the ground, so they should be stood up and made to fight standing. Because I don't like the as much as I do love submissions, as
Hmm.
much as I do love the ground game and ground control. I
Hmm.
honestly do. Um, in the fifth round when they're fighting. And if that's not even happening all fight long, I think that needs to be, as a referee's decision to stand them up, honestly. So when I was watching, I was a little disappointed in that end. But it was great for scoring points and they were down there, but I felt like there was a couple times for like 10 seconds, 20 seconds where there was just like a lull in the activity where I believe that's where you should stand them up. But great fight. Great
Yeah, it
fight.
was. Yeah, it was. One of the things that makes the refs hesitant is like if someone has side control, they consider that a dominant position. And you know that wrestler that like that side control over the back type thing. We see a lot of
Sure.
people stall on that too. But I like what you're saying. If they're not using that dominant position to try
Hey,
to,
Google. Oh,
I like that.
sorry, I don't know what happened.
But if they're not using that dominant position to advance their position, if they're not using that dominant position to try to finish, if they're using that to lay and pray out, I'm totally with you. I think the refs,
Right.
and we've seen John McCarthy, he retired. We've seen him do that before. We've seen Herb Dean do it a couple of times. Yeah. So, all right. So listen, a lot to talk about. We're going to talk some football. We got our UFC pick six. Tanisa Sri, who's like a super fan who goes all of the game, all of the matches, and is also learning a little bit about MMA. She's a volleyball player. She's challenging the host this week. We got someone to challenge the host after this episode's over. But first things first, okay? Um, let's talk about Monday night. Glad this is Sports Debate Tuesday, huh? I'm glad we're not
Yeah.
pre-recording this time. We're actually going to be a little late because we're doing it on Tuesday. What a Monday night game. Okay, when you think of fun games, you think of shootouts. You know what I'm saying? Two guys, big runs, big plays, this and that. But once again, because Bill Belichick makes the average fan think of chess instead of checkers, all of a sudden this low-scoring affair has become drama incarnate. And the only thing that made it miserable for me is it happened to be against my Buffalo Bills. And yet, you know me, Rob. Here I am, not the Yankee hat. You don't see me run the next day. I stand tall. I don't stand at all. So it took me a while. Took me a while to get over this, so I could do, so we could do our job here, and I could be objective. And I think I'm there. You got my back. You're gonna help me with that a little bit, all right? You need
Of
to
course,
just
of
tell
course.
me to shut up. So my question is this, all right? We went from the Pats being patsies to someone like you saying, you know what, Jay, this is a team that could make the playoffs. to a team that's now the number one seed in the AFC, which leads to the question everyone's asking: do they have the tools to get to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, so I believe that they're built the right way. First of all, they got the best coach in all of football for the last 20 years. You can't even deny that.
Nope.
Um, and he's created the defense, even though it took a whole year, and a lot of players out from COVID, but they brought back a great defense, a lot of pieces, and the defense looks fantastic. Whether you can't name Matt Judon, where did this guy come from? Sack master, and you just have J.C.
Yeah.
Jackson. Now he's a
Van Noy
shutdown
came back,
corner.
right? Van Noy
Van
came
Noy
back.
came,
Yep.
so like they have a great defense, and all they needed to do is kind of what Tom Brady did in his first couple of years of his career, which is kind of just move the ball down the field, do what you need to do. And this exactly showed it's not really even about Mac Jones or Tom Brady at that point. It was really about creating that team mentality where the defense is going to lean on the offense and the offense leads on the defense. That are all the tools that you need. So at the end of the day, can they win in cold weather? They can compete in cold weather. Can they win tough, close games? They can win. Can they win without throwing the football? They can. So they answered a lot of questions with this game, and win or lose, I think they're definitely going to do damage in the playoffs. Now, can they make it to the Super Bowl? I would say absolutely yes, just because of the competition. You have the Titans, who I thought were the best team and one of the best teams in football, but they lost Derrick Henry. That's a
Yep.
huge blow to their chances. I mean, you have who else did we do? Oh yeah, the Ravens, they banged up. You have the Chiefs is a down year. So, I think this is the opportunity for the Patriots to really come through and at least get to the Super Bowl. Will they win it? I don't know. The NFC is tough, but yeah, I think they'll definitely get there, honestly.
All right, Rob. You did a really good job answering that question. But before I answer that question, I want to dance a little bit, but I promise you I won't do it too long. Calling Mac Jones a game manager, okay, that's fair. But using this thing where he was 2 out of 3, only made 3 passing attempts, the fewest in 40 years, right? Um, to use this as a straw person argument to say that he can't throw is absolute nonsense. I mean, some of these reporters have like a very very bad memory. Last week, just last week alone, 23 of 32, 310 yards passing. The guy can throw if you need him to. Now, answering your question, Rob, they can make the Super Bowl. The answer is absolutely yes. Will they? I mean, it remains to be seen. But I like their chances just as good as the Titans. I like their chances just as good as the Kansas City Chiefs. I like their chances just as good as anyone in the AFC North, including the Bengals, who just make us continue to scratch our heads. All right. This game, you got Mac Jones. All right. Previous game, Damian Harris rushed for 111 yards, 64 were a break one for a score, right? Which I
Hmm.
think, in my opinion, decides the game. The two things that decided this game for me was that score and the Bills missing wide right on a field goal.
Yeah, but I mean that two-coin conversion. I don't know how you don't play that tougher.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
big momentum changer, I thought as well.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things where everyone's talking about Bill Belichick's genius, and um, Coach McDermott's being vilified by saying it wasn't his genius because everyone's looking for clickbait or whatever, and he wasn't saying that. What he was saying was, if you told me I'd have this field position on offense before the game, I like our chances of winning, and he's right. Look, they got the ball ran down their throat. There's no doubt about that. But people have to understand what team play means, which the Patriots demonstrated, and what the Buffalo Bills' overall strategy might have been, which a lot of people don't know. Think about this: Bill Belichick was a defensive coordinator, 2 time Super Bowl champion before he was even a head coach. When they played the Buffalo Bills 30 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, 91, no, 20 years ago, he said in order for us to win, Thurman Thomas has to run for 150 yards or more, and they thought he was crazy. Thurman Thomas rushed for 186 yards, and they proceeded to win that Super Bowl 20-19, coincidentally against the Buffalo Bills, coincidentally wide right. Okay, so take all of that. Take account that the Patriots ran the ball down their throat. Because I'm just trying to highlight some things that no one's talking about. They got ran over and still should have won this game. They hit that field goal. I mean, the 2-point conversion, you're right, that was a head scratcher. They hit that field goal. On their next drive, they're driving for another field goal. You know what I'm saying? And you know the Patriots, even on their worst day, are bend but don't break. They'll escort you to the red zone and not give up the goods, even when they were bad. Okay? That is the Bill Belichick way. And I think that's part of his genius that McDermott did not highlight, and that's where they thought he failed on that. But sticking to the subject, even though all this is connected, yeah. I mean, right now, their remaining games, they have a week off. They play the Colts. That's not an easy game, but it's a game they can win. They play the Bills again, and that this time it's in Foxborough. I mean, we're going to do picking winners on that on a quick question later. I'm not going to like my answer. The Jaguars, that's a win, right? And the Dolphins, a division opponent at the end. Right now they're 9-4. They can conceivably, because everyone else is 8-4 and 8-4 and 8-5 and 7-5. Conceivably, the road to the Super Bowl in the AFC could be through Foxborough. And in conjunction with that, if the road is through Foxborough, why not them? Doesn't that give them more of an edge if they play host with a bye?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. Anything you'd like to add? I see it. Go on.
No, I mean, it's not too much. It's just, I think this is just the beginning,
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how he fell to the Patriots at this point. And, all these other teams are kind of scratching their heads with the picks that they have. Very interesting.
What an exciting game, though. A low-scoring game that just had my blood boiling. Of course, I'm a prisoner of the moment. Look at my hat, my brother. All right, but you got third down. You got Josh avoiding the sack, avoiding another sack, creating time, makes this awesome throw, competitive throw to Knox. This guy knocks the ball down. No pass interference. You know what I'm saying? It was just good football. Diggs, back shoulder throw, right? Before that, I mean, that was just exciting. That was exciting.
Buffalo got ran over, though.
They did.
If Damian Harris didn't leave the game with the hamstring, I think that game would have been a little bit more lopsided.
Yeah. Well, even if they won, it would have felt like a loss because of that.
I'm saying I think they would have put up 28 instead of 14.
Ah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Damian Harris is a different switchy type of back, and he had a hurt hamstring, and he got like 20 yards. I was like, oh my, this guy's limping to 20 yards right now.
Yeah.
So it's just two different type of backs, and Stevenson is a great back, but he just doesn't have that shiftiness. It would have been really interesting to see, but
I mean,
man, Matt Milano though came through at the end. They finally said, "Yeah, you better get through."
Yeah, for me, like the probability I'm getting more points is offset by like if they didn't get a 65-yard, break, then that score kind of evens out. So I leave that at 14. I just really wish that Buffalo hit that field goal. I mean, that's you got to make that kick at home. I mean, at home, that ball's got to go between the uprights. So. Yeah. All right, so we're going to revisit the NFL in a minute. Let's go to actually revisiting the NFL now. We're going to do a pick six. Patrick Dietz. Patrick Dietz, congratulations. Not for winning the pick six. Rob McLean won the pick six this time. Rob right now is 3-3. Patrick Dietz and myself are 2-4. And our overall records right now, Rob, you're 34-31. I'm 37-28. And we're catching up to our guests who are 39-24. So you and I are closing the gap a little bit. I'm not using the tie. I just don't want to mention the tie anymore. I'm just doing the wins and losses. Just call the tie a wash because we all bet on that game, and that was it. And it was Pittsburgh and the Lions, right? Oh, good Lord. So congratulations. But the reason why I'm congratulating Patrick Dietz, he just got the assistant coaching job at NYU. Carl Franz took the job at a job in Jersey for D1 men's. And Pat, I mean, as far as like a small place on the corner of the earth where he can live in peace and have fun and do the kind of work he wants to do, NYU is a very ideal match. Jose Pena finally gave him the nod, and congratulations to an old friend of mine in whom I was his head coach at City Tech, and he got NCAA Offensive Player of the Year in 2000. So he kind of made me look good too. I was associate head coach that year. So big up to Patrick, and thanks for playing. But now let's go to our weekly pick six. All right, first game, Bobby McGee, you go first. You know how I'm gonna go first. Thursday
Mm,
night, Steelers visiting the Minnesota Vikings. Look at you. You knew it was coming. come,
uh,
come on.
I feel like I'm gonna regret it, but I'm gonna go with the Vikings. I feel like they got a lot to prove. They really need to, you know, push the ball to their wide receiver, and of all the people of in the league that surprise me when they have to win and they actually do win,
Who's that?
it's the Vikings. So they lose the ones that they should win, but
Mhm.
man, yeah. So I think after that embarrassing loss last week, they could just kind of try to come back and just try to plow anybody who's in their way. So I think, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Vikings on this one.
All right. Well, listen, Rob. Hold on. I got to show some respect. Rob, keep it. McLean. McLean. You're right. You are going to regret picking that game. I'm going with the Steelers. Mike Tomlin ain't going to have no below 500 season, even though we did not like his chances a couple of weeks ago. Big key win against the Ravens, who I didn't think that played well. I thought Pittsburgh played okay, and I think okay is enough to be Cousins right now. Game two, I'm going to go first on this one. We have the Dallas Cowboys against the Washington football team. Now, I was watching First Take this morning, and that's one of the female hosts who's uber talented, and I'm sorry I forgot her name, asked Stephen A. Smith, give me one area where Washington has more talent than the Dallas Cowboys. And Stephen A. could not give her one. And I agree with Stephen A. because he did not need to give her one, all right? Were the Raiders more talented in any position than the Cowboys? No. They lost to them on Thanksgiving Day. Were the Denver Broncos more talented in any position? I mean, on Bridgewater's best day, it would probably a wash. The answer is no. And the reason why Dallas has every reason to win this game is the reason they're going to lose this game. Because, to quote my man, some way, somehow, when you count on them, they will let you down. I'm picking the Washington, I was going to say Redskins, Washington football team.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think this is going to go back to the same thing that happened to me last year. Is that no, it's not going to happen right now because they need to build that anticipation a little bit. You know what I mean? So this week, it's going to be the Dallas Cowboys. But in 2 weeks, when it really matters, Dallas is going to lose. So I'm going to choose that right now
You're going to make me
just
cry.
because, just because they're going to lose in 2 weeks. So Dallas Cowboys, thanks.
Oh, where is my professionalism? Gone out the window. Game three, you pick this first. Ravens visiting the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know how many more injuries the Ravens can take before their team just breaks apart. But I think Myles Garrett, man, he's going to get a couple sacks on Lamar Jackson, and these teams have to play each other a lot, so they have a little bit of tape on each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Browns. I'm gonna go with the
I'm
Browns here.
I'm gonna go to Ravens. The last time the Browns beat the Ravens, they really stuck it to them in a way where there was kind of a smirk, and I think the Ravens had a meeting and said, "We will never let that happen again, no matter the condition of our team. They'd rather die than lose to that team, and if they lose to that team, it's because someone died." I'm picking the Ravens. Um, I go first on this one. This is Game 4. We have the Buffalo Bills against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hey. Nah, no, it's gonna be the Bucks. It's gonna be the Bucks. I don't like Josh on the road, and if there's one team that's a favorite beat up toy, for Bill Belichick, if there's one player who enjoys it more, it's Tom Brady. They happen to enjoy that time together, and I see more of that the same. Tampa Bay's hosting this game. Josh Allen actually I think will come back, but with that being said, I don't know. The Bucks have been inconsistent, but the Bills have been very disappointing in the sense that you had higher expectations and then they lose to these games. They lose these games at the end. You know what I'm saying? Games like Titans they had a shot at beating. The Patriots, that's a game they should have won last night. Even getting run over, right? Got the dogs barking. I mean, even the dog agrees with me. That dog in the back is like, he's right. He's right. So it didn't happen then. We lost to the Jaguars, a team that didn't even have a win on the continent, and we're not going to beat the Bucks.
Yeah, I would love to go against, and I think it's going to be a really tough game. I honestly really want to pick the Bills, but I think the Bucks will again work some magic somehow and come through with the victory at the end of the game. So
They can
um,
win. I mean, right?
I
I
really
mean,
think
they
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 can
did
win.
beat Kansas City, and they do have quality wins. But
I
uh,
think yeah, this is honestly one of my toughest picks because I feel like again they're a team who kind of loves to bounce back and show that they're still in the hunt and still one of the top teams in the league. So I could totally see Buffalo win this game, but if we're gonna pick, I'm gonna have to go with the Bucks.
yeah, okay. I like that. Game five, you go first on this one. We have the Niners, San Francisco 49ers, visiting the Bengals. My question to you is, do you trust the Bengals for one more week?
Right, exactly. I don't trust Joe Burrow's injury history for another week, and that's just kind of how it goes. So, you know, I go back and forth, but I'm probably going to go against the Bengals on this one. Yeah,
Shishing! So you're picking the Niners.
yeah.
Okay, like I said, shishing, I'm going the Bengals on this one. I think all things considered, even with both good defenses and inconsistent quarterbacks, I go with the home team. Um, I go first on this one. This is Monday Night Football. This is the Los Angeles Rams. Our Los Angeles Rams, I guess, visiting the Arizona Cardinals. Everyone asked me who the best team in the NFL is. Was it the Bucks? Was it the Cowboys? Was it this team? Was it the Chiefs? Was it that? And the entire time, I'm going to remain consistent. It's the Arizona Cardinals. They're the most complete team. Kyler Murray's a candidate for MVP, and he didn't even play every game this season. But so I'm going to go the Cards on this one.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go with the Cards. I mean, it's crazy what they've been able to do on both sides of the ball, and Kyler Murray just looks like uh, a totally like a dimensional. Just changing the dimensions of the game. Honestly, making the run play option be that effective. It's you can he's even doing it on you pass on pass plays. He's even trying to like read option or trying to break away and do his own run type plays
Yep.
on a quarterback scramble. It's very impressive. So yeah, I think the Cards are the best team in the NFL, uh, honestly, and it starts with Kyler Murray.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So we both got the Cards on that one. I like that. All right. So now we are going to go to our segment, which is mixed martial arts. We have a big pay per view. We have like 6 or 7 for the whole year, and this is one I think I'm gonna spend my money on again. We got a good double main event with Nunez versus Pena. Pena's a scrappy dude, scrappy girl, good submission skills, killer, power in both hands and for a women's division, hits like a dude, even walks like a dude. Um, and Poirier versus um, I'm so sorry, Oliveira, and what I call
Hmm.
the nice guys bowl, right? Usually nice guys don't sell pay-per-views, but I'm really hoping these it couldn't pay-per-view sales and money and cash in, it couldn't happen to two better individuals whose
It's
philanthropy
true.
off outside of the octagon has been well documented, as well as their respect and their heightened skill set. Talk about comeback kids, right? Talk about what Poirier came back from, right? Moved to a different division. Talk about what Oliveira came back. Look, he looked like he was on the verge of getting cut. But we're not going to start from the top on this one because we have our guest Tanisa Sri, who's going to join us by Zoom but is unable to do it, but gave me her picks. All right, so let's start with the pick six. We're gonna go bottom to top. We're not gonna do the prelim main event. We're gonna do the one before that, out of respect for our guy Dominic Cruz. So the first one is Dominic Cruz, and you're gonna go first on this one. Dominic Cruz versus Pedro Munoz.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Pedro Munoz on this one. I love Dominic. I think he's a fantastic Hall of Fame MMA fighter, but I just think he never really got the putting people out aspect of the game. He's a fantastic defensive fighter. He's got amazing footwork, great hands, but finishing, and having those record, that those types of skills in your book, it's not his thing. And then Munoz, he's got power. He'll take the punch, to put it on you, and that's kind of the type of aggression you need to fight a Dominic Cruz. He'll just literally run around you and move around the ring all day. So,
Who you got?
I think it's a great fight matchup, but Munoz. I'm gonna go with Munoz.
I'm gonna go Munoz too, and I'll tell you why. Like, for a long time, people like Dominic Cruz, the way he slips and his awkward style and like that style of coaching that allows you to slip in and out with 8 point striking has really fooled and manipulated and even hurt a lot of people he went against. Even so much to a point, TJ Dillashaw has mocked that style, and when they fought each other, it looked like mirror images of each other. But just like the NFL and just like every other major sports league, it's a copycat league, and people caught on to that, and I think Munoz did too, and I think Munoz is going to win by decision. Ring rust is a real thing, even though Dominic Cruz has defied that saying over and over and over again. This, you know, Agent ring rust is also a real thing. So I go Munoz on this. Second one, I'll go first. Now we're entering into the pay per view. We have Tanisa. She's gone Cruz. She's gone. She's the lone wolf. And we'll both go. Ow! Lone wolf. All right. So main event: Sean O'Malley, who deserves to be called Sugar just as much as Rashad Evans does. Sugar Sean O'Malley is going against Raulian Paiva, my bad. Raulian Paiva. I've seen Raulian Paiva fight 2 times. He is a savage, and O'Malley is taking easy fights to build his brand because he knows he's going to make just as much money fighting easy dudes than high ranked dudes. And I like what he's doing, but I think this one he bit off a little more than he can chew. I'm going Paiva.
I mean, I'm gonna go O'Malley, but yeah, man, it's gonna be a tough fight. I think we're gonna see if he's a fighter or a star. So we'll see.
Yep. I'm lone wolf on this one because Tanissa's going Sean O'Malley too. So for me, because it's not like a big leap to go lone wolf, I'll just go. It's got to be a big howl if you just going against the grain. Third one, you go first on this one. We got Kai Kara France versus Cody Garbrandt. Who?
Yeah, I haven't seen Kai Kara France fight in a little while,
I've
but
only seen him fight once too.
I definitely think that he has the type of style to pressure Garbrandt and give him issues, especially at this weight class. But man, Cody's got that knockout power, and Kai France unfortunately has a pretty glass draw.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really don't think this is going to last very long. Maybe a round, but I think once Cody hits him once or twice, he'll feel the power and be running away from it. So
I like.
yeah, I'm going to go with Garbrandt.
Me too. I like Garbrandt too on this one in a sense that he's always had good power in both hands. He's always had a pretty good skill set in all 8 points. He's got good wrestling in a sense that he doesn't get taken down much. Like that wrestling defense that people want to keep the fight standing. And the big difference is he knows at his chin he can't those fights he lost. He didn't see anyone that had the knockout power to do that to him. And you learn not once, not twice, but 3 times. He's going to do a better job protecting himself and not leaving himself out there trying to load up. Because he's got power without needing to load up. And I think the last fight I saw he won by decision. I think he sees that, and I got Garbrandt. Kaya is going Kai Kara, and we're going to give a lone wolf.
I'm a lone wolf.
Oh, get ready. Jeff Neal, Santiago Ponzinibbio. Ponzinibbio has been chomping at the bit to get a good fight, a fight that he thinks he deserves, and boy, does he have one. That man has a relentless pace. Jeff Neal has very good wrestling, very good takedown defense, and can take the fight wherever he wants, but every fight starts standing, and that man is electric. And I think he's ready for this. I'm going to go with the Argentinian. I'm going to go with or Chilean. I'll find out in a minute. Santiago Ponzinibbio. I'm going to check that out. Go ahead.
I think, I'm going to go with Jeff Neal, just because, yeah, I think he's a wrestler, and a wrestler is going to do what wrestlers do. And especially when they fight fighters that maybe are better than them on their feet, when they make a fight a certain way, and if you only got 3 rounds,
yep.
If you make a fight a certain way, you only got so many opportunities to, take somebody out. So especially, later the fight gets, a little tired, a little slower. So, and I like the way, especially in a 3-round fight, you're able to, if you fight, or if you're training for fighting 5-round fights, you can push the pace the whole time. There's no real time to real settle in there and
Mm.
get your stuff. And as a striker, you need that time. So I think just on the limitations of the fight, I'm gonna go with Neil on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and Neil needs this one. I mean, he recently lost to Neil Magny and lost to they were both decision losses. In fact, my tech person today, that's me. It was Stephen Thompson. I remember that. And
Mm,
those are two long, lengthy fighters. So, and I don't blame you for picking that because Ponzinibbio is not as long. He's had trouble with like guys with like long limbs.
mm.
Um, and yeah, I pick him. And let's see who Tunisia 3 picks. Sorry, I'm going, and she picks Ponzinibbio. You're the lone wolf on this. You already got you got a barker in the back. And that got him not on speaker. That dog would have been like, "What'd you say?"
For real.
All right, let's go co-main event or slash main event, double main event. I don't even like calling this a co-main event because it is the greatest female fighter in the history of mixed martial arts. Amanda Nunes is facing Juliana Pena. Should I go? I go first on this one. I don't remember.
Yeah, you can. I mean, it's gonna be quick for me.
Good. Let's skip it then. Nunes.
Yeah, Nunez.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah, she's better tools in her toolbox. She's and everything Pena does, Nunez does a little bit better. Let's move on. And mad respect to Pena because I've been watching her since The Ultimate Fighter, and she's such a hottie, and she's so, you know what I'm saying? She's powerful and cute. It's just the sexiest thing in the world for guys like me. Um, Kelly Campbell, love you very much. My main event, we have the Nice Guys Bowl. We have Dustin Poirier, who was the former interim champ, now trying to get the undisputed championship from Charles Oliveira. Rob, go first.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a good fight. But I hear a lot of talk about Poirier moving to a different division. It's just a lot of chatter coming up from that side when Oliveira is he's a dangerous guy. I mean, I think he could fight in different divisions the way that he fights. And yeah, I just think he's gonna do things to Dustin that he's never really had done to him before. I think he's gonna take Dustin down. I think he's gonna make him swim a little bit. And then when they get up, it's gonna be scramble time and Oliveira is clean in the scramble.
Oh my God, he
Um,
so is, dude, isn't he?
yeah, he is, and he hits that's what Michael Chandler found out real fast. He hits from his full extent. You don't have time, and he don't wind up. And he's just putting power on you. And yeah, so I think the later this fight gets, the longer this fight gets, the worse it's going to be for Dustin. But yeah, I think Oliveira on this one. Yeah.
I wow. I mean, when you talk about mental toughness, there's a story to be told about Oliveira, like who was losing a whole bunch of matches, wasn't sure which weight class, looked like he was a journeyman, not even on the verge of it, and all of a sudden put together a bunch of wins, beat Tony Ferguson to get the title shot, and then beat Chandler, like you thought he would. I thought that was your pick. I mean, I wasn't sure where to go. You were sure because you were following Oliveira more closely than I was. Enter Dustin Poirier. You know what I'm saying? Poirier, as far as mental toughness can go, once you fight Justin Gaethje in a war like that, once you fight Eddie Alvarez in a war like that, once you find a way to put up with Connor's nonsense, not once but twice, and come out with two victories, one clean knockout and one left him cursing the world. He's mentally tough too, and here we go. Two guys without an inch to whatever, but I really think Charles Oliveira is going to probably value him to death. He's going to have a bunch of submission attempts that will probably tap out anybody else. But Poirier, I've seen Poirier in some matches like where he would panic tap. He's not tapping anymore. This is going to go decision, and this is going to be a baptism through fire for two deserving individuals. Where I give the nod to Poirier or to Oliveira. And our young lady says Poirier, but this one's gonna be good.
But this one,
She also picked Nunez too, by the way. I mean, it's I feel so disrespectful to Pena. I didn't even mention her pick.
so
It's just it was so
you
obvious
say
to
you
us.
say decision. I say it's gonna be in the fourth round.
Yeah. Wow.
So
Cool, man.
it's
Looking
gonna
forward to
be
watching it.
something.
Maybe we'll do a watch party. We can
We'll
come to the
see.
crib, man.
I
I don't
mean,
know if this office is
yeah.
big enough, but we could do a watch party, put it on the. I got a big old screen behind this. All right, Rob. So I took care of both pick sixes. This seems like the week of pick six, but the UFC will do that to us, and so will the NFL. But I bring you to my favorite topic, ladies and gentlemen. We bring you to shame, or not to shame.
Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame.
Okay. Now I have to do something like this. Got to press them all at the same time. Boom. Sorry, that. There it is. There goes our clock. All right, Bobby McGee, to shame or not to shame? You might like this or might not, but I didn't. Um, Media asked Micah Hyde and Poyer if they were embarrassed that the Patriots had the fewest amount of passes and ran over them. Was this loss? And what the Patriots did to them was embarrassing. And basically, Poyer said, that like that's like don't do that. That's a silly question to ask. And they were like, that's it's kind of silly. And the guy's like, well, in my day we could ask questions like that. So does the shame go on the Bills for being sensitive about the question, or does the shame go to the media asking if they should be embarrassed?
Again, so difficult because there's so many perspectives on the issue, but
Yeah.
I think it's more just there can be a little bit more empathy that they just came out of a hard fought battle. Like these reporters, yeah, they could be standing in the cold, with jackets on and gloves on, but like these guys are out there busting their butt as hard as they can, and then you come in there and ask if they feel embarrassed about it. I mean, at the end of the day, sure, everybody can ask what they want to ask, but that person can also just be a terrible reporter and ask a question a better way, or are you embarrassed? Are you aware? How about that? Are you even aware?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just yeah, I don't know. I think reporters suck. Um, there's too many of them, and they don't really formulate. I mean, it's a terrible question.
Yeah.
Who would want to even answer that? So at the
Yeah.
end of the day, the person doesn't have to answer it, and then
Mm-hmm.
we can just move on. But they decide to answer it by saying it's a stupid question. So
Mm-hmm.
I think they're well within their rights to answer a question the way they want to answer.
All right.
Now, what he said after he was walking away, when he didn't answer the question, he
Yeah.
said, "Yeah,
He
I think that's a stupid question," and
No,
I
he
do
just
agree
said
with
don't
that. He
do
had
that.
extra
Yeah.
words.
Yeah, he said
Yeah, he
don't
had
do that.
extra
He's like,
words.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
He didn't. That's not his response at the time.
Yeah.
He was just saying,
He was
after
respectful,
the fact.
right?
So,
He was like, look, I answer all
yeah,
your questions and I respect all of y'all. And yep. So, Rob, I'm with you. I gotta go with shame on the question, and it's questions like that by the media that make some of these athletes get on their high horse and give people speeches about gladiators in the arena. Oh, you've never done it, and now the argument shifted into attacking someone's character instead of just the argument. You know what I'm saying? And there is a different way he could have phrased that. Even though earlier on the coach answered that question by saying yes, he is embarrassed. But I will say this: there are teams that run a lot of yards on you, and there are some games where you realize people are running on you, and all you can do is make other choices to try to minimize the damage as much as you can. And what did the Bills do in this situation? They let them break one for a score, right? And the score ended up being 14-7. So with all the yards and everyone being run, the ball being run down their throat and all that stuff, the defense only giving up 14 points in a situation that could have been much worse, I thought was very formidable. I didn't think it was embarrassing, not on the defense's part. And to make matters worse, Rob, I didn't like the question because if they do say it was embarrassing, or if they don't say it was embarrassing, if they're defensive, you know what happens? The next question the media guy's going to ask, oh, do you think it was your offense's fault? And it's questions like
I
that,
mean,
just for the sake of clickbait, that divides teams, that will make the defense. He was looking for bait so the defense could excoriate the offense for coming up short. You know what I'm
but
saying?
even I,
Go ahead.
I honestly didn't even know that he, asked the same question, or the same question was asked to the coach.
Right.
But a coach, again, is not on the field with them, and then two, he
Right.
can answer for his players.
Yep.
Right? One player, even a captain, can't answer for his players
Yep.
because he's not that person. Like that's what the coach is there for. So that's why I think it's, again, like, to ask the players how they felt about the performance of their own teammates. It's a lot different than asking a coach how he views his performance of his players as a whole, which
Right.
is his job. So I think it's a little different, to sit to
Well, it was a different
to
question
not
for the
confuse
coach,
the
right?
two.
Because the coach is not about the
That's what I mean.
execution; he's about the strategy. So I 100% agree with you on that. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought the question was out of line, and you knew like the guy was about clickbait because when they walked out, when Poyer said, "Look, I love you guys and I respect you and I answer all your questions all the time, but please don't do that." And then before he walked out, the guy said, "Well, and back in my day, we could ask that question." So clearly, the guy showed his true colors. He couldn't just when he said, "Don't do that," he could have just shut up. He could have just let it go and then next week come at him from a different angle if he had to. But this dude was looking for clickbait, and I didn't like that. Against a team that, I mean, maybe they're embarrassed getting run over like that, but they did defend themselves. Hey, 14 points. We held this team who's been, running over everyone to 14 points, which was, again, it was bait. It was bait for the reporter to ask the next question. So, do you think it's the offense's fault that they didn't come up with more than 10? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? How they try to turn people against each other like that? I didn't like that. I don't like that. Something you'd like to add before we move on to our next beautiful topic?
Yeah, I think it's just within both their rights. One to refuse asking the, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna remember that.
Yep.
I'm gonna remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gotta answer your questions no more.
Yeah.
I'll answer everybody else's. I'll be available for questions, but I don't have to answer your question.
It's true.
That's just how it should be.
I had a
Use your power.
flashback too. I had a flashback when Brady had a bad game, and they asked Bill Belichick. They said, "Are you thinking of replacing the quarterback?" He goes, "No, I'm not." But then it's sunk, and he goes, "It's just like." All right, guys, we're bringing you to our next topic. That was to shame or not to shame, and this topic is called "Quick Question." All right, Rob, quick question. Big Ben announced this is his last season. Was it a right move for the team for Big Ben to announce that?
Absolutely. It's been time for a while now.
I say yes. The quicker they can draft a quarterback, the better. They should have done it last year. Quick question. Are the Chiefs still going to win the AFC West? I'll go first on this one. I believe yes. I believe they won four or five in a row, and they're doing well.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think the Chargers are going to come back from a game underneath them to overtake them. So, yeah.
Nice. Quick question, Rob. Who's the most complete team in the NFL? You go first.
I struggle between, the Packers and the Cards, maybe the Pats, but I'll probably go with the Cardinals.
I go with the Cardinals. I echo your sentiment. Quick question. Who has the more impressive win streak, the Miami Dolphins or the Washington football team? I think Miami won 5 in a row. The Washington won 4 in a row.
I say Washington. They lost their best player. They have a backup quarterback, and they are still competing in NFC East, but still, they've played competitive teams and they've beaten competitive teams.
Nice. I go with the Washington football team, though I do have love. Matt, I got mad love for Flores and the way he always finds ways to come back and reshape his team, man. Big up to that dude. Quick question. The Patriots and Bills play again in 3 weeks. Can the Bills win that game? I'll go first on this one. They can. Yeah, I mean, a busted watch is right twice a day, but and if they have the same approach and if the Patriots do the same thing, it might be a different result. So like I said, pending a field goal being made, or like you said, ridiculously kooky 2-point conversion. So the answer is yes.
Can they? Yes. Will they? No. But I
don't think so either.
I just think the Pats are an incredible team on a great win streak.
Yeah,
right now.
I don't think so either. I'd just be happy if the Bills finish 10-7 because I think they get some in. I mean, they got Tampa Bay. The last 2 real tough games is Tampa Bay and New England again. Quick question. Villanova, number 6 in the country, visits an old rival, Syracuse, an ex-Big East team, now ACC team. Who wins that game tonight? You're East Coast guy, so I figured I'd throw that your way.
Yeah, I'll probably go with Villanova.
Yeah.
They for real. They've always been pretty good.
Yeah. They're been one of the best teams in the country that no one talks about. People forget they won a title, right? 3-4 years ago. Quick question: will Steph Curry hit 16 threes to break Allen's record?
Tonight.
In order to do it, he has to hit 16 threes. I'll go
Yeah, I think
first.
he'll do
No, no.
Who knows? Yeah, why not? I think you could jack them all up tonight, but they probably won't let
I'm not saying that he can't. All right. I witnessed, I didn't witness it, but I heard people witness that guy in practice shooting 104 straight 3-pointers.
straight. Mm-hmm.
Say that again.
I've
Listening,
heard.
people. 104 3-pointers. Quick question: is Kyler Murray an MVP candidate?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. MVP candidate, but right now the way Rodgers is playing, I'll give it to him. Quick question: Lakers versus the Celtics tonight.
Probably the Lakers.
I'm going Celtics tonight. I mean, I wish I could just bet on the half. No, I go Celtics tonight. Quick question: Lillard wants to play with Simmons. Is that a good combination or a bad combination for you?
I don't know where, but because they ain't gonna bring them to the Portland Trailblazers, they're gonna lose everybody, and Dame ain't leaving anytime soon. But yeah, I'm sure it could work out because Dame don't like defense, and Ben don't like shooting. So
Yo, I say yes, and I regardless of where they both go, whether he goes to
Right.
Philly or that guy goes to Portland, that's a good combination. I like it. It's a great combination for the two of them. Quick question, and I left this at the end because it might be an extended one. To make a run to the Super Bowl this year, which quarterback do you want? Do you want Rodgers or Brady?
I probably want Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, on just talent and skill alone, because I feel like he's reaching the echelon where Tom Brady is. Maybe he's not as good as Tom Brady, but he's able to do things that Tom was able to do a couple years ago, but still has that I'm going to put the ball in the end zone mentality. And again, this is just Tom against Aaron, same team, same everything, with a better line, with a better receiving core, more consistent. I mean, imagine if you switch Tom and Aaron would be going off for, Dan Marino's numbers. You know what I
I
mean?
don't know about that.
Come on now. I mean, he hasn't had Devontae and
Yeah.
Randall Cobb for more than 3 games.
I'm not talking
You know what
about
I'm
his.
saying?
No, sorry.
They're
Go ahead.
9-3.
My bad.
They're 9-3. You know what I mean?
Right. I only disagree with that because if it's just physical gifts, yeah, put him on any of those teams and he sets the world on fire. But I'm talking about the muscles between Rodgers' ears and the personality and how he has to deal with other personalities. And that's why I think Brady be a better fit. And that's why I would pick Brady on this one. I got this question from First Take. Stephen A. Smith agrees with you. I disagree with Stephen A. Smith that I don't think it's Rodgers. I think it's Brady. And I disagree with Keyshawn Johnson when Keyshawn Johnson said it's not even close when he said Brady. I disagree with that. It is close. It is very close. It's razor close. How close, Rob? NFC Championship game last year close when Rodgers probably could have won. Well, many people thought Rodgers could have won that game if they left the ball in his hand on 4th and goal. So I mean, that's a question to be speculated against. But and we disagree on this, but I totally disagree with anyone that says this isn't even close. That's ridiculous. That's no.
Yeah, no, it's very close. But
yeah.
but at the end of the day, you have to understand, like, last year was an aberration because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were in their first year. Nobody had seen what they did. There's no scouting for them. It was just Aaron Rodgers has been doing the same thing for 12 years. You know what I'm saying? Scramble out this way, throw deep, extend the play. Like, everybody knows what he's going to do. So you can at least minimize that. But Tom, Tom's just going to do what he can. And I just think that Tom chose the right situation at the right time. And that is just as important as how good he is at this age. But if he went to other situations that weren't as prime, they didn't have great draft picks the year that Tom came in. I mean, all these things led to them being successful. If any of those things didn't happen, they would not have won the Super Bowl. If they didn't have Tristan Wirfs on the team last year, they would not have won the Super Bowl. Like,
do they win the
huge.
Super Bowl without Antonio Brown?
Who?
The Bucks.
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely.
I mean, It's crazy because I think they win without Antonio Brown, but I think they lose without Gronkowski. It's not about the talent. It's about chemistry, and it's about who you get, how you guys get along with, and in conjunction with the coaching. And that's why
But I think
I
again,
think Aaron, like I said, physically could play anywhere, anywhere he wants, and probably win.
but look at Tom going to Green Bay, and we'll finish on this. But Tom going to Green Bay, you ain't got no tight end to throw to. You have two receivers that may or may not be on the field because of injury concerns, and then that guy's going to be double teamed. You know what I mean? So it's not about the first route; it's about the second and third route, extending the play and still making that pass. So I'm just saying that they've made it so hard on Aaron Rodgers for so many years that we expect absolute greatness from him, as opposed to if he was actually in a situation that benefited him, that made it easier and advantageous for him to score points and to push the ball down the field instead of doing it for his damn life or giving it off to AJ Dillon every time because you got three guys in your face. Then yeah, I think he'd score more points than Tom Brady, who didn't get touched all of last year.
Right.
Yeah,
Hey,
I think it's a big difference.
that is a very good point, and you really hit home with that. I'm gonna leave this to be continued because the way you did that last, it was good. It was more than good enough to close up shop on this particular subject matter. Well done, my man McLean. All right, so that is the end of Quick Question. But before we go, I want to give a shout out. I saw this morning Kurt Warner has a movie coming out called The American Underdog, and it's based on his book called All Things Possible. I love this guy, and it's out on Christmas Day. And you know what? I don't care if it's in a movie theater. I don't care if I gotta go in a shuttle with Elon Musk and watch it on Mars. I don't care if I gotta watch it on this little ass computer screen or on this recording device. I will watch that movie because I read and I love that man's story, just from his wife's perspective alone. When this man was the Arena League football champ and ended up being a stock clerk punching price tags at Walmart or Kmart. All right. And when you looked at that guy, it's unfair to look at that guy and be like, why should he play in the NFL? He's working in a grocery store. He changed the way people think. And I need 30 more seconds with this, and I'm going to give you the floor. Ask this woman out on a date. She says yes. She cancels out on the date because she ain't got a babysitter. So most men, when they hear this woman got 3 kids, he's like, all right, I'm out. Not this dude. I'll come. Hey, take the kids with us. And she's like, well, 2 of my kids are handicapped. Okay, I got a pickup truck. Take them with us. You know what I'm saying? This dude has this big heart, this heightened level of caring, absent of what anyone's given circumstances. He looks at the person, he looks at their heart, and that's how those two wound up together. And if that was just a story, and if you left football out of that, that would make me cry. And not to mention, this guy comes back, Trent Green gets hurt, and he's one of the innovators of the greatest show on turf with Bruce, Hakeem, God knows who else. I don't even remember half those guys. I remember Ricky Prohl as like a 4th string warming up just to keep up with these fast brothers, all right? So
Marshall Faulk
coming up, yes, Marshall Faulk, man, 1,000 yards receiving, 1,000 yards rushing. I mean, what the greatest show on turf. Kurt Warner, looking forward to watching this movie. Shout out to this man every time I hear his name.
Yeah, Kurt Warner. Yeah, I definitely love that team, and that was one of my favorite teams. I think that's when I first started playing, NFL video games. It was the greatest show on turf. So
nice.
It was great to.
And a great Super Bowl, right? That was the Tennessee Titans and them. This guy
best.
came up short, man. Remember the Titans, but no, remember the greatest show on turf, my man. All right, so anything you'd like to say to the general population before we bounce, Bobby McGee?
Stay happy, stay healthy.
Stay happy, stay healthy. Hey, for all of you at home, for all of you on your iPads at Starbucks, for all of you on the lunch line waiting for this episode to come out, for my man Rob, keep it McLean. I am Jason DeBeas. Love you to pieces. We're out of here. Come check out the Option Podcast on OptionVB.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.